All right, here is the 2A Auto pyramid printer. This is really basically a Kunovo. So these are, you're not going to find these anymore. I think maybe there might be some floating around on eBay. We will look it up and see. Kunovo pyramid A11. So there's some reviews on it from 2021. My friend bought this, I think, in 2023, so it was already quite old. 3D printing in Iraq, interesting. Large build volume, 300 by 300. Better cable management. This guy did a whole lot of stuff on it. Printer assembly reviewed by Phil. I'm trying to remember. One of these ones they actually showed where you actually needed to, and that's exactly the same box. Yeah, that's the 2A Auto one. I mean, it's a fun printer to learn on, but not for the faint of heart. So I got two of them from my friend, and he gave me one of them that worked to use, and then the other one to repair. And so I ended up repairing the other one and using both of them. Now, one of them has a issue with the display or the motherboard. So my plan with this is I have two of them. I really am not using them, but I want to do an experiment when I have time. And I want to go Klipper. I want to get rid of that computer that they have on it and just use the hardware. So I'll get rid of their computer and I'll hook up a Creality printer. Let's set it up to be like something along the same size, like probably the CR10. And basically set it up where I can just get a already set up Klipper file, okay? And Klipperize it. So, because it's too slow as it is, it prints 50 millimeters. It's really, really slow. It looks really nice in this guy's video. Let's clip through here. This is really cool that he made this very long video. Because if you've never ever put one of these together, or you've never 3D printed, this is going to be really hard to figure out. All this stuff is just nuts. And this thing is not even partially assembled, I don't think, really. So I guess they send you this part here. It's been 3D printed. I'm not sure. I remember watching this video and he was talking about it. Let me turn my sound on. Let's see if we can hear what he was saying.
Pop that into a computer or laptop, and here's where you'll find Cura, a free 3D modeling and printing software. Video instructions for assembly, bed leveling, and included parts, though these are technically for the previous printer model. The model folder has some 3D design files, including several replacement parts for the printer itself, like the filament sensor bracket, and 2 G-code files which provide direct instructions for the 3D printer to make a print. You can go ahead and install the Cura software, but note that it's version 4.2, and if you want the latest version, you'll need to download it from Ultimaker's website for free, which is what I'll be doing. While it's installing, I'm going to connect the printer to my computer using the included USB-B cable. After launching the software, there's a few setup prompts and cloud account login, which we'll skip for now. Then choose Add a non-networked printer, and in the list here, near the top, just under Ultimaker, select Custom and Custom FFF printer. I'll name it Pyramid A1.1. Then in the settings, use the values provided in the manual, 310 for X, 310 for Y, and 400 for Z.
Interesting.
I'm also going to check heated bed. Then check the extruder tab and enter 0.4 for nozzle size and 1.75 millimeters for material diameter. Then click Next. From here, go to the Preferences menu and choose Configure Cura. Select Profiles from the menu on the left and then Find from the listed profiles. Then go to the Import tab and on the SD card, go to the Profile folder and select the profile provided. Here, it's ELF 4.2.1.
I don't remember being able to do that.
And you should get a successful pop-up. Click OK. Then choose the new profile from the Custom Profiles list, click the Rename tab, and change it to Pyramid 2.1. Click OK, then close the menu.
Wow.
Now the software should be set up to send prints to your 3D printer. But before we do that, let's load up the filament and level the print bed. First, take your filament and snip the tip at a 45
This is going to be interesting.
so that you get a point. This will allow it to axis motor centered. So on the LCD screen, I'll select Leveling, then 0.5, which will move the extruder to the middle of the bed.
Printing on glass sucks.
Then I go to the Move menu, set the increment to 10 millimeters, and move the Z-axis up 20 millimeters. And that just gives you a bit of space under the extruder for material to come out. Then insert the filament into the sensor, and feed it down into the extruder. You'll want to use the thumb handle to pull out the side in order to get the filament down past the silver gear. Then on the LCD screen, go into Settings, then Filament, then tap Load, then Confirm. If your extruder is preheated already, it will load right away. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till it heats up first. But when it's done, the filament will be pulled into the extruder, and some will squeeze out the bottom. So you should remove that before you start printing. To level the bed, press Leveling on the main menu, then select Point 1, which will move the nozzle to the front left corner. Then you'll want to turn the adjustment wheel under this corner to lift or lower the bed, clockwise to raise it, counterclockwise to lower it. Using a sheet of printer paper, you want to adjust the bed height so that the nozzle at point 1 just touches the paper. So here I'm going to raise it a bit, and if I slide the piece of paper, I can get it under the nozzle, but also feel that the paper is scraping up against it without getting stuck.
Yeah.
Then move on to point 2 and do the same. Repeat and it'll take about an hour to complete. Okay, now we're ready to load. Isn't a temperature. The motor noises for the printer
Anyway.
are pretty minimal.
Yeah, so there's lots of information on this printer, but they called us a Creality CR10 V3 clone. Interesting. 3D Musketeers. When was this posted? It was... What's the date? I don't see the date. Maybe if I back out of it. 2021.
We've taken a look at the Ender 3. Let's go a little bit bigger. This is a generic CR10 V3 as far as I can tell. Let's get into it. As far as I can tell is a CR10 V3. It's got a Titan direct drive system, a 300 by 300 by 400 millimeter build area, a silent, we're gonna put quotes on silent motherboard, we'll see how that one pans out, max nozzle temperature of 250 degrees centigrade, so likely not an all metal hot end, bed temp of 110, pretty standard there. It says it's an easy add-on for a BL Touch. Well, we're gonna find that one out soon. Resume printing, we're gonna test that. Filament runout sensor, we're gonna test that. And a 3.5-inch LCD touchscreen. You are gonna be seeing my review of this printer. I will have already unboxed it and take an initial look at it. If you wanna see that, card to that video for you. It will be coming very soon.
I need one of those cutting board things.
Not for the printing. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The freaking fans are crazy loud. With a printer this big, you really do want to have mesh bed leveling, and don't worry, we're going to be doing that real soon. There are some things
Look at this. Here's a probably an archive from Amazon. Currently unavailable. But you can see there's a 3.9 out of 5, 148 reviews. So it used to be available on Amazon. Anyway, it's certainly not anything that I would recommend to anybody that was new. I don't know what Simply Print is. It's something else. Anyway, and then there's a guy that he did all of these things that you can print for this printer, which is actually really quite cool. I printed that drawer. It took a really long time to print and then didn't quite turn out correctly. Oh, those are covers for the Y-axis motor cover. Limit switch holder. Turbo fan shroud. Remote filament sensor holder. A carrying handle, belt tensioner, and more videos. So anyway, we're going to fire it up. I'm going to try and print something. I don't know about the temperature in here, and it usually makes all that racket. Heat bed, we don't want that. 140. Extrusion. I'm going to go 240 on it, just because it didn't do well the first time. Alright, now we try and print our file. We wait for it to start. We gotta wait for it to heat up. I mean, it's like a really great idea for a printer, but just it's never ever really did quality prints for me, and nor for my friend either. So it would be perfect candidate. Remove this, put a sensor on it, and clipper it. So this is kind of what this thing likes to do. It just kind of it screws up, and it doesn't matter how many times you clean the build plate. It's just it really, I don't know, it's kind of goofy. I do like how you can really see the first layer, because you're gonna need to, because this thing doesn't work right most of the time. And then it starts putting all this hair over here. So likely some changes in the slicer might help it a little bit, but this is a completely unreliable printer. But it's really cool that I learned on this, and this is what I figured out how to get 3D printing with. I had hours of practice on this thing, trying to get it to work correctly. It would probably be a lot easier using PETG, PLA. See how it just dragged that over there? So, we're going to go ahead and stop the print. So anyway, I'm going to fiddle with this later, and I'll let you guys know what I come up with. And just, something to do. I got all the other printers that work just fine, so why not use the one that's difficult?